Big name brands like Louisville Slugger and Rawlings have long dominated Major League Baseball, but an upstart in Norwalk, Connecticut is stealing some of that business. Tucci Lumber has put bats in more than 160 Major League players' hands, which is pretty amazing when you consider the company's backstory.
Pete Tucci has a batting cage attached to his office. This is where he's always felt the most comfortable.
Was your dream to play in the Major League?
Absolutely, yeah. Since the time I could remember, my dream was to play in Major Leagues.
Tucci was a first-round draft pick for the Toronto Blue Jays. He'd made a name for himself as a power hitter in the minors. Then he broke a bone in his hand.
When the bone broke, it actually severed ligaments and tendons going up to my ring and pinky finger. And when I came back, never really regained my kind of old form. So I figured I'd kind of cut my losses at that point and really try to get something going, kind of building a life for my family.
He built a heating and air conditioning business. It was doing fine, but Pete was not.
Pete would come home after work. He was like a fish out of water. Without baseball in his life, he was miserable. We just needed to find a way to get him back into baseball.
So she bought him a lathe, a woodworking machine she read about online.
I looked at her and said, what in the world makes you think I can make a baseball bat? I never tried my hand at anything that had to do with woodworking.
So the first time you're in the garage with no experience and the machine and the tools, was it a nightmare?
It took me a while to figure out. It took me about 3 hours to make the first bat. Once I made like the first one, I was kind of hooked.
I could not believe that. I was really not a handy person, but it was amazing. It just took off from there.
Is this how a bat starts off?
This is how it gets shipped to us. So
5 years after making that first bat, Tucci Lumber will produce 20,000 this year, custom cut to mirror a player's proportions.
We'll probably have close to 1,000 different models.
Amy paints each one and applies the logo she designed.
Had you ever painted anything before?
Nope, never.
The dominant competition, Louisville Slugger, makes close to 3 million bats a year. But this year, 161 pro players are buying from Tucci. Big names like Nick Swisher, Prince Fielder, and Pablo Sandoval. Colorado Rockies player Troy Tulowitzki used his Tucci bat in last night's home run derby.
Tulo has gone way deep.
Houston Astros player Jose Altuve will be playing in tonight's All-Star game.
This is the first year I use it, and actually my second year. Been working really good for me, and I love it. They treat me really good, and I like swinging this bat.
When you're watching TV and you see one of your bats in a major league player's hand, what goes through your head?
It's pretty surreal. Now I kind of feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and maybe my entire life of being in baseball and my life revolving around baseball actually kind of landed me here, and this is what it was all about.
You and Pete are both so humble, but this is like 1 in a million, the chances that this would work.
I just never thought that it wouldn't. I just figured the two of us could do it and didn't look back.
Right now, Tucci Lumber has 9 employees with plans to add even more. Their goal is to hand down the business they started together to their 3 children.